All right, so welcome to the video, guys. My name is Lenny Richardson, founder of Productivity Accelerator. And today I'm gonna switch things up a little bit, kind of create some different type of content. So in this video, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit and I'm gonna take a look at the productivity routine of Alex Hormozi. And so if you're not familiar with him, he's essentially a very popular entrepreneur. I don't wanna minimize his achievements and his success, but that's the core of it. He's a very successful entrepreneur. And he often talks about, at least in the videos that I've seen, things about productivity and how to scale your business, lead generation, things of that nature. So I kind of wanted to just take a look at his productivity routine, pick it apart, see if what he's doing works well, and see if there's anything that can be improved on. So let's get into the video, guys.
What do we really want to do? Like, what's the actual impact? If at the end of our lives, we have something that is a shining beacon of a different way to do business, that to me is something worth fighting for.
What's on deck for today?
I am working on the book.
You know what's going to happen when everyone sees this moment, right?
What?
They're going to be like, when's the book coming out?
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
Oh.
This is really the first time really kind of seeing you in the morning. When you're not meditating, you're not journaling, you read that song.
I should. Normally, I have like a 3-hour routine just so that I'm capable to function as a human being. I have a long affirmation routine that I do. There's a long way over there.
All right, so I know he's being sarcastic here because I know from just watching some other videos that he does not do long routines. And what I'm gonna say is I completely agree with him. I don't know where this came from. I know years ago, this was like a trend of people who would just promote doing these abnormally long and unnecessarily long morning routines. They'd wake up at 5 a.m., they'd go to the gym, they'd go for like a 45-minute run, then they'd come home and do a cold plunge, then they drink their matcha coffee or matcha tea, whatever it is, then they go out and they do affirmations, then they go on top of a random mountain nearby and shout from the rooftops all their affirmations and how successful they're going to be. I don't know where all that came from, but I'm going to say it's completely 100% unnecessary. There's no correlation that a morning routine that long will lead to more success. In fact, in my personal opinion, what I think more people should be doing is just cutting out like 99% of their morning routine. Pretty much, you want to get done one thing that kind of builds up momentum, and then after that, just get to work. Whatever like your highest priority task is, get to work on that, get to work on it as quickly as possible, make some progress, and that's really it. Like, that's the most successful morning routine, in my opinion.
Wall mirror over there that's where I just say them to myself. You're amazing. You're fantastic. People love you. Comments don't mean anything.
Like, is it decaf? Is it regular?
This is decaf.
All decaf?
Yeah.
Wow. So you drink it just because you like the flavor?
Actually, I drink whatever Layla usually drinks.
What's your day looking like? What's on the agenda?
Leadership meeting, pipeline review, book meeting. I have a bi-weekly with 2 of our teammates that I try and do with some of the non-executive team.
And you do that every day? You try and block up until like noon or 1?
Yeah. And then Layla's been doing such a good job, though, that there are more days where I just have nothing on my calendar at all, which is awesome.
So one thing I want to mention is this. He's talking about having pretty much a consistent routine, and the one word that he emphasized, the one word that he mentioned, that if you're watching this right now, if you don't understand this word and if you aren't using this, you are already failing. It's a calendar. You need to schedule your day as best as you can. You need to have an actual plan for how your day is going to go. There's a direct correlation between success and how you structure your day. And it's funny because whenever I see a lot of people talk about how they want to become successful, and again, and this is worth mentioning, success is subjective for everyone. Everyone has a different definition of what success is. Everyone has a different goal that they're striving for. But the thing that's consistent is that in order for you to achieve whatever that version of success looks like for you, you need to structure your day appropriately so that way you're actually doing actions in pursuit of that goal. Does that make sense? Like, if your goal is to become Mr. Olympia, you need to work out X amount of times per week, which means you have to actually take the time to go to the gym. And the easiest way to do it is to actually put that on your calendar so that way you can guarantee that you're going to the gym. Same applies for everything. So if you don't have a calendar, you're already behind. You're already failing. Don't try to be that person that just haphazardly does stuff. Don't try to be the person that wings things. Obviously, your calendar is not going to be perfect. That's just how life goes. One thing I will point out that I like that he's doing, at least based on this video, is his calendar's simple. He just listed just 4 things that he does. I'm sure he blocks off like plenty of time for all 4 of those things because he knows how long those things in general tend to take. And another thing he mentioned is sometimes Layla is just so good at her job that he has nothing to do on his calendar. That's perfectly fine. Less is more. You don't want to, like, I've seen some people who pack up their calendar too much and they try to account for like every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes. I used to be guilty of this. On the surface, it looks like you're being super productive because you see all of these like different colors on your calendar, but in reality, it's overwhelming and it's a fast way to lead to burnout. Some people can handle it. Most people, I'd argue, cannot. So don't make that mistake of trying to overpack your day. Just do the essentials. I usually tell my clients, pick 1 to 3 things per day that if you were to get these things done, it'll create the most impact on your goal or the most impact toward your goal. Just do those 1 to 3 things. Even if you only get 1 of those 3 things done, that's still better than nothing. And if you prioritized correctly, then that 1 thing or those 2 things, those 3 things that you do, they're going to be so impactful toward your goal that it really doesn't matter. Like, you could really just get 1 thing done, and that's still plenty. That's still making more progress than most people who do nothing or who are doing the wrong things.
And amazing.
Why do you like having nothing on your calendar?
I just have more time to work. Farewell, my love. Sweet queen. Little guy for a guy. You want a little guy?
I might hold.
Great way to start the day. You can see my little workstation. I've got my iPad, which is where I draw my stuff.
All right, so the rest of the video kind of just looks like him. It's more vlog style. He's just talking about the business. He's talking about him and Layla, just some random stuff they're working on. Cookies, it looks like, in one part of the video. So a little bit irrelevant to this video. But one more thing I just kind of want to end this video on that I noticed is that he's working on a book right now. And for a lot of people, writing a book, especially if you're a business owner or if you're a professional trying to brand yourself and you're trying to expose yourself to more people, the idea of writing a book or creating content or maybe starting a blog, anything of that nature, might seem a bit overwhelming because you want the end product, but you understand that getting to that end product takes time. Now, there's a few ways I like to kind of tackle a situation like this. If it's something like a blog or if it's something that's relatively more straightforward, like writing articles or maybe creating just short pieces of content, just do it. Like, don't overthink it. Don't try to overplan it. Just get it done quickly. And then over time, as you're consistently doing that thing, writing the articles, creating the content, you keep making slight pivots and you keep improving in that way. So for small things, that's my recommendation. If it's something like a book where you know it's going to be a very long process, this is my recommendation for that. Just get started and do your best to block out an hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours, whatever you can afford to block out to just work on that thing without judging yourself negatively if the work you're putting out isn't great. Does that make sense? So I'll give a kind of a personal story to kind of make that make more sense. Years ago, this was in 2019, I had a goal to write a book. Why did I want to write a book? I just wanted to write a book. I wanted to leave something behind. My thought process was, what I try to do is I try to look towards the end of my life and think about, if I were to die, what, and I know it sounds grim, but my thought process is, if I were to die, what would I have liked to accomplish? Like, if it was like my last day on earth and I'm just like in my deathbed, thinking about everything I did do and I didn't do, what would I regret? And one of the things I'd regret is not writing a book. Because to me, if you write a book, you're leaving something behind even after you pass away. So in a sense, it's like, I'm dying, but I'm not really technically dead because people, at least whoever reads the book, might get some value out of it. They might still remember me. That's my thought process. So I wanted to write a book. And I've been procrastinating to write it because I was thinking about, oh man, the book's going to take so long. I have to figure out what I'm even going to write about. I have to outline it. I have to kind of sit there and actually write the book. And then I have to go back and edit it. It's going to be a long process. And so you start thinking about too many things. That leads to analysis paralysis. And that's what I had. And so eventually 2020 hits. As you know, there was a pandemic. And that was a big motivator for me to say, you know what, screw it, I just got to write the book. And so what I did is I would block off 3 hours every morning. I do my short morning routine, which was for me at the time, waking up at 5 a.m. I'd go to the gym at 6 a.m. and then I'd come home and I'd get to work. I'd have a cup of coffee, then I'd start working. And usually from about, I think, 8 a.m. to about 10, 11 a.m.-ish, depends on the day, I would block out time just to write my book. That was it. Like, I would just write. And what I did is I didn't focus on perfection. I just focused on progression. So I didn't really care if the words made sense. I didn't care if it sounded good. I was just focused on writing. And my goal was to write about a chapter per day, or at least close to a chapter per day. I forget exactly how many pages that was, but I think really I just tried to write as long as I could and as much as I could within that 2 to 3 hour time slot. So I did that basically every morning. There were some mornings where I just didn't want to do it. And there were some mornings where I would sit there for like 30 minutes and just nothing came to mind and I would just give up. Totally honest about that. But for the most part, I would sit there for about 2 to 3 hours every single day and just write, just start typing and let the words come out, whether they're good or bad. And by doing that, after about 3 or 4-ish months, I finished the book. Now, I think I finished the first draft, but then once you finish the first draft, it's so much easier because then you just have to go back. You can edit things, do a little bit of research, whatever you have to do. It's just significantly easier once that first draft is done. But the point that I'm making is that if it's a long project or if it's something that has a lot of steps, don't focus on trying to be perfect. Just focus on starting. And you may have heard that before, but it's 1000% true. Just focus on starting. Don't worry about how good it is. Don't worry about how sloppy it is. Just start. And as you continue working on that project or that task or whatever it is, course correct. Just make slight tweaks along the way. So that's my suggestion for that. And that'll be the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you like this style of video, please let me know. I'm trying to test out different things so I can kind of educate people and give them as much value as possible in a way that's easy for them to digest. So I feel like these reaction videos are a little bit easier to digest than just long format videos where I'm just sharing different insights. But yeah, let me know what you think. Like the video if you liked it. Share this with someone if you think they might get something out of it. And I hope to see you in the next video. Peace out.